What's up, y'all? It's your boy Niner Faithful. How's everybody doing? I know everyone is having a legendary day. Yay! That's what I call an ass whooping. Oh, we're here to break down. I got Jason in the green room. We're going to go ahead and break down that Niners thorough ass whooping of the Tardinals yesterday on Monday Night Football. But before we do all that, of course, we have to remind you to stay tuned to the end of the show for your special 10% coupon code on season 2 for the Faithful by the Faithful Apparel, exclusively available at ninerfaithfulradio.com/shop. Go ahead and use our shop49ers.com affiliate link to save 10% and help out Niner Faithful Radio. Link will be in the description of the video or podcast. Go ahead and go to seatgiant.com. Use the promo code Niner Faithful Radio to save on all your theater, concert, and sporting event tickets, as well as help out the show. Follow us on our social media. Jason does a bang-up job on Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr at Niner Faithful Radio and Twitter at Niner Faithful R. Go ahead and see everywhere you can subscribe to the show. Go to ninerfaithfulradio.com/subscribe. Make sure you catch Jamie and Jason this Friday at 7 p.m. here on the West Coast for NFR Weekly News Wrap. And go ahead and catch our Week 12 game day shows. Pregame coming to you at noon, halftime, and postgame at 9 p.m. here on the West Coast. Ladies and gentlemen, faithful of all ages, let's get the show cracking.
You are now listening to Niner Faithful Radio, the show for the faithful, by the faithful.
What's cracking, Jason? How you doing, bro?
What is good, everybody? Hey, can we start off with that song you used to sing all the time?
What? Oh, Jimmy is a king. He'll win the South Six ring. And on that day, his haters will sing, Jimmy is king. Oh, matter of fact, let me just go ahead and get this out of the way. Jimmy is the Kettle Corn offensive MVP of the week. 2 for 20 of 29, 228, and tying a career high for touchdowns. I mean,
what's up, Damien? How you doing, brother?
What's up, Damien? Good to see you, bro. Yeah, way to start off the show, Jason, because I thought, to me, that was almost the most dangerous that Jimmy's looked. Because sure, you can nitpick some balls and all that shit, but I saw nothing wrong with the way Jimmy played.
No, there wasn't. I mean, and we've beat it to death where the fact that, Jimmy's not necessarily an elite quarterback, but what Jimmy is he is probably the best distributor of the ball, and game manager, which is going to piss some people off. But there's not a damn thing wrong with him being a game manager with the weapons we have surrounded around him.
Shit, Jimmy is what we know what he is. This is what he is, but this is high level quarterback play. I mean, this is, let's take a step back and realize it's the Tardinals, okay, who were without, what was it, 4 out of 5 starters on their offensive line. Moore went out like 4 plays into the game. So it's not, clearly Isaiah Simmons was hurt.
Yeah.
Buda Baker really didn't have the impact that he normally does.
Buda's getting old, man.
He made a few plays, but it's just it was. I said this in our pre-show meeting. I'm gonna say it now. I say it all the time. Hardest thing in sports to do is what you're supposed to do. That's what this offense is supposed to look like. That at least that's what we all assume. Have absolutely nothing wrong with the way Jimmy played. I mean, that's a Jimmy that can win us a championship.
Huh.
I don't even remember what the hell are you thinking Jimmy throw yesterday?
What do you mean? Like a bad
Just
throw?
yeah, like a bad throw, like throwing it straight to a linebacker. I didn't even
Yeah,
see
like
any throws like
you'd have to
that.
be real nitpicky. You have to be somebody who just absolutely hates him at this point. And like I said, but
And not understand what he is.
yeah,
You would have to be somebody who expects Jimmy to be an elite quarterback and, on the level of Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes, that type of level. And that's just not what he is. For what Jimmy is, and let's not get it twisted. And this is a thing that I'm very exciting is Jimmy didn't have a training camp, and we
nope.
talked about it a little bit week 3 and everything like that. But he's starting to get into the flow.
His training
He's
camp was
starting. I
like
think what a lot
weeks
of people.
3, 4, 5 ish.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what he's been a starter. So full starter week 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So this is his 9th week being our starter. Ninth full week being our starter. So what? Training camp 6 weeks?
So he's what, 2 months behind, two and a
Yeah.
half.
So he's basically a couple weeks past what would normally have been a normal training camp for him,
Yep.
and that's not bad considering what the first time he probably picked up a football was a week or two. I think he started throwing.
About a week and a half before camp actually started.
Yeah, yeah. It was like late June, early July is when he actually picked up a football for the first time since the NFC Championship game. So
He's
we're not even
everything
talking
about him
about.
is coming together really good right now.
And what a lot of people don't understand exactly is that the off season, especially for quarterbacks, sometimes it ain't even about getting to know your new receivers, things like that. It's about building up the arm strength. That's going to be necessary to throw the football at least 20 times a game for 17 games. For just the physical preparation to get ready to go through what an NFL season puts you through. Big props to Jimmy. Also, before we get too far on the show, I want to say a big congratulations to Charvarius Ward for becoming a daddy. Welcome to the daughter club, bruh. There are handfuls. But congratulations, Charvarius Ward, who I thought showed an extreme heart yesterday. It was clear the altitude was whooping his ass, and he stayed out there. He battled. He said it wasn't his groin, but that his groin had to be acting up. Maybe it wasn't what took him out of the game, but he was limping. By the end of that game yesterday, he was clearly limping, and he still battled through that. Yeah,
I
that
think you
that
could
didn't.
see everybody on both teams limping at the end with how much they were
Yeah,
just
that
sucking
was.
wind. That was
I
brutal.
don't think that honestly probably wasn't a very fun game to play in.
Oh
I mean,
no,
you're gonna be happy at the end. It's gonna be fun and everything because we won and all that shit like that. But
they're feeling it.
I will say this: I feel bad for the Cardinals. Considering that now some of this is their own fault. Like, look, you could have gone to Flagstaff, Arizona, and so that's just not only do we whoop that ass on the football field, but I feel that we whoop that ass by just simply a football operation standpoint.
Well,
And
they had been training with high altitude mask on for a while. They've done it for like 3 weeks in preparation. So I mean, there is science that proves that way would have worked as well. We just we just picked a better version of it.
I mean, let's be real. Do the Cardinals even have? They might not even just ownership might not have the money to be able to do all that. But
Yeah, that's definitely possible.
I do feel bad for them because they essentially I feel almost like the NFL screwed them because this game could have easily been, when they set up the schedule, this could have been the Niners giving up a home game, and the NFL, they track jersey sales, they track way too many things. I mean, why do you think they pick these cities? They obviously pick these cities because they know that there's an NFL following in them. They're not going to go to Munich, Germany, if they know that Germany doesn't have a lot of NFL fans. Maybe one of the reasons why you don't see NFL games in Russia. That might be for other reasons, but I do feel bad for the Cardinals. It's like, look, NFL, you know what's up. You know that Mexico City is a huge hotbed for the Niners.
Yeah.
So not only did you make us travel to Mexico City, you made us give up a home game to essentially cause it to be a home game for the Niners. So essentially, the Niners got 10 home games this year. Well, really 12 when you consider Levi South.
So is this
So
Levi
that really
South
was,
South now?
yeah, this is the Levi Southeast South.
South South.
Yeah, what's up, Mr. Williamson?
Yeah. Ask the question,
Um,
brother.
yeah, go ahead, shoot it to me. So ultimately, okay, let's see. The first time you were able to have to do something about the situation you had with your family, you couldn't figure out. Okay, if the first time you were able and you had to do something about the situation you had with your family and you had answered, you didn't want to do it, and now you're going through them all or less than them.
I think it's the wrong show for this question.
Yeah. I don't know how to answer that, bro. My bad. You want to answer a football question? I got you, Spam. Anyway, so ultimately, it showed what we can be as a football team. We could be a dangerous football team. Oh, but he said my English isn't good. All right, well, we'll go ahead and message me, brother, and we'll go ahead and we'll talk off air. Go ahead and message me, and we'll get through that language barrier there.
Yeah, I think everybody has us as like number one or number two, the most quote unquote feared team in the league, especially now that the Eagles are starting to come back down to reality a little bit. So it
Yeah, they
seems
did
like
not. I heard they
we're
did
the
not
team
look
to worry
good.
about. I didn't watch any
Well,
of that
let's
game.
go ahead. I just happened to hear about it and everything. My roommate talking to me. So I mean, that's the sexiest side I've seen in weeks, bro. Right there. First place, regardless of whatever the Shecock fan who argued with Jason thought, we are in first place officially. 4-0 in the division. I want to say since 2011. I want to say it's the first time we've been 4-0 in the division since 2011. Ultimately, this is what really mattered. Only two games behind Minnesota for the number 2 seed. Is it possible for us to get that?
Yeah. And then with the way how Philly looks, people are starting to think that Philly's going to fall apart down the stretch, possibly. So, I mean, I think number two is definitely within reach because obviously our schedule is. I have to see what Philly's schedule looks like. Let's see. I'll pull them up real quick.
Yeah. Pull up a Philly schedule. So I still don't think we're gonna get to one because that's a lot of ground to cover, bro.
They'd have to fall apart.
Yeah, they would have to completely fall apart.
All right. So
and
the
end
Eagles
up probably
got
like going like
next week. They have because remember, and so they only beat the Colts by one.
yeah.
And so then they got the Packers Sunday night. Then the Titans. The Titans are playing people good this year. The Eagles. Then they got the Giants. That's no NFC East battle. Then they have the Bears. The Bears aren't winning, but they're also, you know what I mean? They're getting really scrappy right now.
They're going to beat the Bears, bro. Let's be real.
Hey, I want Justin Fields to do good because he's on my fantasy team.
Yeah.
Then we got the Cowboys. The Cowboys are starting to look real good right now.
Yeah, they are.
Then they got the Saints. Saints are hit and miss. And then they end the season with the Giants. So they've got quite a few divisional battles. They got 1, 2, 3, plus the Titans, plus the Saints, depending on how they look to end the season. And who knows what version of Green Bay is going to show up. Green Bay still has Aaron Rodgers, and all he can still.
Yeah, they could be. The season is done for Green Bay, but as far as an individual game, they can still win any individual game because they have Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
they can win any. Is it? Well, being in Green Bay wouldn't matter for Philadelphia.
No, it's in Philly.
But okay, it's in Philly. Yeah. So I mean, they can. Aaron Rodgers can still win any ball game, individual ball game. I mean, they might only get 1, 2, 3 more wins throughout the season, but that game one of those wins could easily be against the Eagles. I mean, I think ultimately they still will get the 1 seed. Maybe Minnesota catches them. I just that's a lot of ground to cover without playing them. And I don't want to even start to think about tiebreakers or
Yeah.
anything like that. But the number 2 seed, I think the number 2 seed's very much within reach. I mean, we got Tampa Bay coming up in 2 weeks. That's going to be a huge game.
Yep.
New York and the Cry Girls are hot on our tails. I think that the Cry
I'm
Girls
hoping
would
them
be
NFC East boys beat up on each other.
yeah. I think that's what's going to end up happening. And to me, even if Philly wins the 1 seed, Philly to me seems like that team that could be one and done, kind of like Green Bay last year. And I think that what you're starting to see is teams are starting to challenge them. They're not walking over teams like they did in the beginning of the season. And so that's the problem with starting off hot. I think that's what happened in 2019. 2019, we started off so damn hot that by the end of the season, you start to saw some kinks in the armor. And then eventually, by the time we got to the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl, we just ran out of gas. Last year, same thing. We started off too slow last year, but but because we had to put so much into everything week after week after week after week, that
I didn't mean to hit that. I didn't mean to hit that one.
Yeah. Week after week after week, we ran out of gas by the NFC Championship game. I think that might happen to Philly this year. I'm starting to not be as scared. I'm starting not to be as scared of Philly as maybe I was a few weeks ago. So
It's also timing. We're starting to
Yeah.
get healthy. Things are starting to come together for us. Now they're starting to have issues. And they picked up the Dominican Sue, which pissed me the fuck off, but that's just what that is.
I don't understand.
He said it came down to us and them, so.
And fine, he thought the Eagles. I mean, could that even be more playing time? Because my thing about this is, so let's talk about the Eric Armstead situation. At this point, it would have been at this point he might as well have gone on IR. That's not a question, and brought him back. He might as well gone on IR and brought him back. But why wasn't Dominican Sue brought in weeks ago? Because the team had to know that it was a hairline fracture. And
it sure as hell hope they hope than you.
If not, that's we need a new medical staff because that's incompetent. We can't have that.
Yeah.
We can't have players with hairline fractures that aren't getting identified. That's a huge medical red flag. So so our plan, which fine, we haven't needed him, the last couple of weeks or anything, but our plan is just to roll with what we have and pray, shit and pray that he comes back. Because I mean, can you assume that he's going to come back this year? I mean, eventually, but I mean, I feel weird about it because we keep on hearing that it's close, but he just keeps on getting ruled out. Like he's not even practicing. He hasn't even returned to practice on a limited basis. So that's the thing that's getting me. Is
as good as the middle is playing right now, that's probably we're just letting him get more and more rest. If we don't have to push him to possibly re-injure himself, why bring him back? Right now, we're playing fine up the middle.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, one of the best plays of the game was done by Kerry Hyder last night when he dropped back and prevented that one screen.
Really, honestly, that Kevin Givens might have ended Colt McCoy's career when he just blasted through that. That was just devastating hit.
Yeah, that was a good hit.
And also, before we get too far in, I do want to say this. Big props to Dre Greenlaw. He's our defensive MVP of the week. 9 tackles, 8 solos, a forced fumble, a pass defense that really honestly should have been a pick. and probably would have gone to the house if he would have actually been able to pick it.
And
I
just being
mean,
a terror in general for that game last
was
night.
was Dre Greenlaw pissed that he got ejected from that last game? I mean,
You
maybe we
think?
should eject him from every game. Just
Yeah.
eject him like the last drive of every fourth quarter and everything. Just eject him out of the game. For
Like,
no
do we
reason.
eject him right before the Seattle game? Do we just kick him out real
Yeah.
quick? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Before the
just kick
Bucks?
him out. Just like, hey Dre, you got kicked out.
Yeah.
Third quarter against the against Tampa Bay,
Yeah.
and get him ready for.
We'll see you next week, and he just comes back all hulkish and shit.
Just, man,
He was definitely out to prove some shit last night.
he really was, and I love it. Anybody who watches the show knows I'm a huge Dre Greenlaw fan. I've been he was my rookie to watch. I'm quite impressed in Dre Greenlaw's career. Although I will admit, I try to be transparent on the show. I didn't think we were going to be able to re-sign him. I thought it was going to be Aziz that we ended up re-signing. So glad we were able to. We'll see what happens this offseason.
Looking more and more like we might possibly lose Aziz the way he's playing too. We just don't have the money. Some of these guys are going to get paid next season.
Do you think Jimmy Ward comes back?
No.
I don't think so either.
I don't think he does.
I don't think so either. Especially with he's a very team player, but he is not happy about playing nickel right now. He just came out and he said that he is not happy about playing nickel right now. And I think it's very clear that Sean Gibson has done nothing to lose his job.
Nope.
And I think that's why we're moving him to nickel. Because I think the team fully doesn't trust Diamador Lenore at nickel. And let's be real. Having Gibson the two Wards and Huff in our secondary, along with Diamador Lenore, Sammy Womack, whoever at the other corner, is our best 11 on the field. Because Gibson's done absolutely nothing. He did have a bad missed tackle on that. I know his first name's Greg. I don't know his.
You talking about the after the Bosa offside?
The one where Bosa was offsides.
Well, it was bad, but at the same time, he slowed him down enough so that he didn't score. So it was just like he was protecting the angle for him to get in there. So it looked bad, but that's probably what saved the touchdown and Huff tackling.
I have no problem with how he's playing, and I definitely, if Jimmy Ward is gonna go ahead and walk in free agency, I would have no problem bringing him back.
Oh no.
And I would have to see what the free agency market is, or
I think Gibson is one of the biggest surprises of the year. Like, he was never bad before, but he's playing at a damn high level right now.
Well, it's just because we signed him because Jimmy Ward got hurt.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he was on the team and then we liked it. It was because Jimmy Ward got hurt and then played well enough. And who I loved Sean Ridgeway this year.
Yeah.
For what he is, for a depth piece along the defensive line and everything. I thought he's played well enough to. I don't remember. I think it was a 1-year deal that we signed him from. I think he's going to be this year's version of Kerry Hyder. Maybe not necessarily leading the teams in sack. That's very clear. But he's going to get paid by somebody in the offseason this year. He's definitely going to get paid by somebody in the offseason.
All these guys, I want to sign them all. Honestly, I want Jordan Willis back. I want Omenihu back.
Run it back. Shit, I'd be for that.
You could kind of say Ebukam to an extent, because of the injury and everything right now, but he's, when he was playing, he was being disruptive as hell. Obviously, we also have, there's the whole thing with Kinlaw. Do we want to keep running with that? See how that works? Excuse us, everybody, while TJ dies over here.
Yeah, that would down the wrong bite.
So it'll be interesting to see who we keep on this front seven or the front four, because all these guys are starting to earn some, they're going to get looks from other teams. And
Samson is on the last year of his deal too. So
we haven't even mentioned Drake Jackson. All that, we didn't even say a word about Jake Jackson, who's putting up, he's not playing bad. Yeah. It's like, we haven't even talked about him. And we're talking about Willis, Somanahu, Ridgeway, Carey. Oh yeah, and by the way, there's this Drake Jackson kid.
Yeah.
Like fuck.
Who, let's be real. He's going off of pure talent right now.
Yeah.
When he develops moves, when he could truly work on his game this offseason without worrying about having to work out through the draft and everything like that. Well, Drake Jackson, I think Drake Jackson's gonna be he's gonna be one of my players. If I had a year 2 players to watch, he's definitely gonna be top of my list. I think Drake Jackson's gonna be a beast next year.
Yeah. Because then at one point, who are you going to block more? You have, Drake Jackson coming off one side if he starts, depending on what happens. You got Bosa. Maybe we get a fully healthy Armstead back. Who knows about Kinlaw right now with all his stuff's going on? But
yeah. So, and ultimately, and what I love too is that it's young players stepping up. Sammy Womack had an incredible game. He really should have.
And Diamador.
Diamador it's so funny because we were all so high on Ambry Thomas, who's, I mean, is he even on the roster this year?
Yeah.
Like,
who are we talking about?
Obviously, but yeah, exactly. What you talking about, Willis?
Yeah.
Who's disappeared. Diamador, I loved him last year but he was just an absolute non-factor this offseason and everything like that. And he stepped in and he's played well for what we've needed him from. He's clearly not at the level of being a starter right now, but as a 3rd, 4th, 5th corner, I have no problem. And the thing I love about him is he doesn't play scared.
Yeah.
He does not play scared like a little cornerback we took in the 3rd round in 2017.
He thinks he's prime time out there.
Yeah, and that's okay. That's what I love. That's playing corner. If you have the ability, the circuit speed, the athleticism, the agility, everything to play corner, which if you're on the NFL roster, we'll assume that you have at least proven the athletic ability to play corner. The rest of it's mentality. Why was Dion? Because Dion knew he was the best.
Mm-hmm.
Why was Richard Sherman one of the best corners? Richard Sherman was one of the best corners because he thought he was the best corner. Jerry used to talk about he would line up and he would already know if he had the route one or anything just by looking in the corner's eyes. But just by lining up and looking in that corner's eyes and seeing, hey, does he think that he can shut me down? Oh, he knows he can't do shit. Oh, it's over. And that's when Jerry would have, 10 catches for 200-something yards and 5 touchdowns in a game. But when he lined up a corner who looked like he was confident and looked like, hey, I don't give a fuck if this is Jerry Rice, I'm about to shut him down, Jerry knew he had a battle on his hands.
Well, look at Jalen Ramsey. Ramsey from or Keller Witherspoon. They can go from looking like the best corner in the league and can shut down everybody, but you get in their brain just a little bit, next thing and they shamble. So I mean, you want your cornerbacks to be a little cocky and this and that, but you also got to know that with that, they're almost like they're mentally unstable because when they're on, they are on. Man, if that armor cracks, it's cracked quickly.
Yeah, I think I feel bad for corners and offensive linemen are probably the players I feel the most bad for because nobody ever talks. I mean, casual football fans, you see Graham from RSF Niners, he posts offensive line tape all the time. But your casual football fan, like my future mother-in-law, or anything, is only going to talk about offensive linemen when they fuck up.
Yeah. Oh, look, you give him
same with corners.
A touchdown, give him a sack.
Yeah, same with corners. Corners are only really ever going to notice when they get burned, and it's kind of like, almost like being on a highlight a dunk poster.
Yeah.
They always say he put him on a poster.
Yao Ming, the Vince Carter one.
Yao Ming. Yeah.
He played in the league for like 15 years. Nobody knows that. They just know he was. All they know is Vince Young. Vince Carter put his nuts in his face in the Olympics. That's all we know about the guy. And he actually had he had a pretty damn good career.
He did. Yao Ming was. I remember. I'll never forget. One of the funniest things I've ever saw because Yao Ming was just real tall. And so and he was an anomaly. Most Chinese people aren't 7 foot. I mean, shit, most people aren't 7 foot, period.
Yeah, I was going to
But
say most people ain't, but
I'll never ever forget just watching him try to guard Shaq, and Shaq just like backing him down and everything like that. And that was, man. Anyway,
well, you had Yao Ming, Shaq. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
one man was built, and the other one was just a stick. So,
I would love. It's funny. I think it's Kevin Hart. It's either Kevin Hart or Cat Williams. Says like how he couldn't be Shaq's friend and everything like that. He's talking about
Kevin
how
Hart.
he's like waist
It's
high
Kevin
and
Hart,
everything
yeah.
like that.
And
But
I know
anyway,
what you're talking about. It's Kevin Hart.
yeah. This shit's hilarious. But going forward, we're gonna keep the show a little tight. Your boys got to pack through a cruise. Also, make sure you tune in to the pregame show. Jason will be doing pregame and halftime this week because your boy will be coming off a cruise. I promise y'all, the only reason we're actually even going this week is because my girl tried to specifically make it as late as possible. So because of football, but she looked at me, she's like, "Look, babe, we had to do it by the end of the year, or we were gonna lose the credit."
It's a cruise, man. Just do it.
So I mean, look,
Watch the game
I
on
ain't
the
gonna
boat
lie.
and put you with a pina colada up, on the nudie deck, and you'll be good.
Yeah, we've got some plans and everything like that. My girl's already said that she wants to do the whole Titanic thing on the bow. Okay, I said that. I said
I don't
it, but
think they'll
I
let
don't know.
you, but we'll see how it happens. I don't think they'll let
Yeah,
you.
we'll see. I don't even know if I want to do it right now because she made me all or anymore because she made me all self-conscious about it and called me all cheesy and shit.
Hey,
Made me
like I
all
said,
like
I've been
self-conscious.
on a few cruises, man.
But
You're gonna, like I said, like we were texting earlier. Like
yeah,
as soon as you get off here, like, can I get back on? It's like a ride at Disneyland. Like a little kid, you're gonna go right back on it.
yeah, no, we've got. I mean, your boy's gonna. My girl, look, my girl really, really spoiled me on this. I mean, we're getting canopy delivered with prosciutto and caviar on Thanksgiving. We're gonna have each night we're gonna go. I think the only night we said we're not gonna go is Friday night to the dining hall. So we're gonna, dress up real nice, go to the dining hall. We're gonna go see
It's fun,
it's
man.
called the Bufadora. I'm sorry for my Spanish speaking listen or Spanish speaking faithful that I butchered that, but I guess it's the watering hole, the blowhole. I don't know what it translates it to, but my girl said it's really cool and shit. So anyway, so I'm a little nervous about the Aints this week just because of the travel that we've been doing, getting back on a short week. So I would expect it to look a little sloppy the beginning of this ball game. But we'll go ahead and thank you, Bubby, for the like. I don't know what she liked, but she obviously liked something we said. Jason, your thoughts on the oh, she said it really is cool and shit. LOL. So everybody say hi to my fiance. What's up, baby?
See you in a few weeks.
Yeah. We'll see. So yeah, I don't know if I said it on the pregame, but it is official, like a referee with the whistle. Jason and I will be live. We're gonna be doing all the shows to get everything. We'll talk about it off air, but everything's gonna be cracking. It's official. Your boy's got the tickets in his email.
So, I got mine for. I'm bringing one Niner fan from up here. Then my best bud Max can come down. He's a Dolphin fan, but he's cool.
So we're gonna go. I'm gonna play a little bit of a. I'm not the best because I'm not from the city, but I'm gonna play a little bit of a tour guide in the city. We're gonna take Jason to Kezar. I mean, it's Graceland, bro. You got to visit Kezar Stadium, but it's right by Golden Gate Park. So I mean, Golden Gate Park is definitely something you're gonna want to see. And the city, truthfully, the crazy thing about the city is you would think it's really not that big of a city. It really isn't.
It's like Seattle. People think Seattle. It's like, it's not that big actually. Same thing.
It's really not like it's like when Bubby and I pretty much walked from downtown. I think we were officially in the theater district to Pier 39, which is pretty much the edge of the city. You're literally at the water at that point.
Yeah.
And it was a good track. We were huffing a little bit, and the city is definitely, there's a lot of, you're going uphill a lot, but I mean, we were able to pretty much walk half the city from downtown to the edge of the city and back. And my fiance does not walk. So that would tell you how I'm not saying
Right.
it's easy. I'm not saying that I would volunteer to do it every single day of my life, but the city's not that big. So yeah, and then Sunday we're gonna have to go in early or something. We got to hit the museum, bro.
Oh yeah, for
Um,
sure, for sure.
yeah. So we're gonna take out Jason in the museum. We're gonna be having a blast that whole weekend. That's official. I'm actually, truthfully, I'm more excited about the Dolphins game than I am the Aints game.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna
We,
lie. I'm
like
actually,
we got Thanksgiving, and it's like, fuck,
yeah.
just beat that weekend already.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was gonna say, if they wanted to flip the Aints game and the Dolphins game and make the Dolphins game this week, honestly, like I mean,
I've already got short timers at work. I'm just like, I don't give a shit right now.
yeah. Oh God, bro, you don't even know.
But for this week's game, I think I loved it. We have not talked about it yet. That offensive line last night was
Oh my
fucking insane. When was it Debo? No, it was George's touchdown, where Brendel was out front just mowing everybody down, right down the middle. You know, he had the middle. Trent had the left side, and they were just mowing people down.
that
Aaron
Debo
Banks. Aaron
touchdown.
Banks.
Oh yeah,
Was it Aaron Banks still ain't giving up a sack yet?
49ers.
So
Okay, I'm looking up something right now. I want to ask you a question. Draft. Draft.
so
Okay,
right now I
here
think we need
is
to
our
give a lot more love to the
2021.
offensive line.
I'm gonna tell you right now. So here is our 2021 draft class. Okay, you have Trey Lance,
Mhm.
Aaron Banks, Trey Sermon, Ambry Thomas, Jalen Moore, Talanoa Hufanga, Elijah Mitchell. Is
That's a
Aaron
successful
Banks
draft class, if you ask me. Yeah, there's some issues with it, but
is Aaron Banks the best draft pick out of 2021?
uh,
It's him or Talanoa.
yeah, and I'm gonna have to say him because I think as good as Hufanga's been, I think he's actually been more dominant. Because,
I mean,
but
considering
that's again, we are nitpicking at that for who's better, right? You know, who's the better draft pick right now? We are really nitpicking it.
ultimately that's not good. If that ends up the case, and either Talanoa Hufanga or Aaron Banks are the best draft pick out of the 2021 class, that's a huge problem because considering who was the third overall fucking pick in that draft, that's a problem in itself that we're having this conversation. It's not Trey Lance hands down,
But that's
but
because
removing the fact of Trey Lance being number 3, yeah, I would have to say, I'm gonna have to say just Huff, just because he's a 6th round pick, But I will give the respect to Aaron Banks to say he's definitely in the conversation because there were people already putting the bust,
Yeah, I remember.
marker on him. There were people comparing him to Joshua Garnett.
I remember eating a little bit of crow because I'm like, what's going on with this kid? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, even I got no problem saying, like, dude, man, what's wrong? Why can he not, why can he not break into
Get
the
on the
starting
field.
lineup? Yeah, just he wasn't even active for half the year, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
You
Give
know,
me one
and
second.
then, then we talk about, Trey
Oh.
Sermon, who, another guy who, you want to talk about a bust. He didn't do a damn thing. Obviously, we had Diamond Delore, who obviously isn't as, flashy or anything, but he's still playing damn good football. Ambry Thomas, still playing good football.
Ambry Thomas is not playing good football.
Well,
Ambry Thomas is not getting on the
well,
field.
let me rephrase that. He was playing good football down the stretch last year, but then this year,
Yeah, he was. He was.
So it's just like it was a really, and obviously Elijah, who
Yeah.
So it's a really weird draft when you think about it.
Honestly, it's really, I mean,
take Trey out. What do you give it?
Ooh, you gotta give it a B, right?
I'd give it a B plus for what we get.
B+?
What we've got out of it right now. You got to get a B plus.
Like Trey has to factor into that.
Yeah, but I'm saying take him out completely right now.
Take
what
him
do you
out
grade?
I mean, because so we're looking at it. Aaron Banks. So let's say you've got a starter for at least his rookie contract. We'll talk about the future in the future, but you found a starter who looks like he's going to be a starter for at least the remainder of his rookie contract. What's up, Berto? How you doing, baby? So gang. Okay, so you have Aaron Banks, Trey Sermon. Obviously, that was what it was. Ambry Thomas.
It's still to be determined because it's almost like
Yeah,
him and
still
Drummond are a flip. So it's still kind of up in the air right now.
and to be determined, and he's on the roster. So you can't give a failing grade by saying that he's still on the roster.
Yeah.
He's not in risk of being cut.
Yeah.
You know, they're obviously going to bring in corners next year, and we'll see where we're at next offseason. But okay, so fine. So Ambry Thomas, Jalen Moore, been a solid
Yep.
backup. You
I
know,
think I give him
Talanoa
a C.
Hufanga, still of the draft.
Yeah, I'd give Jalen Moore a C right now.
And you have, definitely see Talanoa Hufanga is an A+, just because,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you did not expect to be getting a starter. And then Elijah Mitchell out of the sixth pick, out of the sixth round, might
So like I said,
arguably,
you gotta give it a B+.
Yeah, I mean, could that be one of our best drafts?
It's up there.
Because
It
it's
is
better
up
than
there.
17.
Yeah.
Right? Better than 17. When you're basically saying DJ Jones and George Kittle were the only things
It
making
saved it, yeah.
the 2017 draft not a complete wash. 2018, you got Fred Warner and Mike McGlinchey. So that's pretty solid. 2019 is obviously our best draft when you consider it's Debo and Nick Bosa. You would any person would argue who are the Niners' two best players. You would say obviously Nick Bosa would be up there. You know, you could easily say Nick Bosa's 1A, 1B, and you wouldn't get too far down the list without saying Debo.
Yeah.
What, maybe Trent, and then maybe Fred Warner. You might argue Fred Warner is you could argue Fred Warner, Debo in that 3 spot as far as best players on the team.
Yeah.
But
2019 has the higher value right now, I think.
Well, yeah. It's clearly out of our draft picks, the best draft was 20. You got the most impact players in 2019 when you're talking about Nick Bosa and Debo.
Yeah.
2020, you got Brandon Ayuk. I mean, obviously, I know I'm missing some players here and everything like that, just off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And then 2021, you got Elijah Talanoa and Aaron Banks.
So,
and
if you take out, so we took out Trey just because of the injury issue.
Mm-hmm.
So with what's left, obviously, you know, you take Trey Sermon, he gets an F because I don't even know. I know he went to the Eagles. I don't even know if he's in the league right now, to be honest with you. So that's an F. So you take that F out, you push it up to an A? Because right now it's B+ with that F in there. When you go up to like an A without that F.
Yeah, because I mean, what other pick are you not happy with?
Yeah, I mean, maybe you can say Jalen Moore, but I mean, what round?
Okay, but Trey Sermon, maybe you might be able to make a argument for a different corner. I don't know. You know, so and so was available and they took. I go lie. You know what hurt me seeing today in a Niner group through my timeline on Facebook. We took Vance McDonald like 6 picks or something before the Chiefs took Travis Kelce.
Mm-hmm.
That one, when I saw that shit cut me deep.
But then we don't get Kittle. You know what I mean? Because we don't have that void.
I think we might. I think for a timing, maybe a season, you know, because we would have said maybe he would have got cut the next year or something or whatever. Because, you know, being a 5th round pick, we could have had Travis Kelce and George Kittle on the same team for a season. That would have been crazy. Anyway, but that one hurt deep seeing that, you know. Or we took who was it instead of Alvin Kamara? It was somebody we took instead of Alvin Kamara.
I don't know who that one was.
I don't remember who it was. But so you take out. So basically, we'll put an asterisk by Trey Sermon, and maybe Ambry Thomas are the only players that you're taking out of the draft that you said you wouldn't draft again. I think it's clear that I don't want to say it's clear, but for right now, I'm going to say that I think I was right by saying taking Justin Fields. But we'll see. I want to give Trey a full chance. Okay, so Jason, I have to ask you this, and we don't like to get into rumors and all that shit too much on this show, but I have to ask. Do you think Trey, I want to make sure I word this delicately.
You talking about him coming back in the playoffs or some shit?
No, he's done for the season. That's not what I'm talking about.
Oh, because I've seen that.
I'm essentially talking about
that everywhere.
Do you okay? So let me. It does have to do with that. Do you think the Niners shut down Trey because they said, "Hey, he's not ready. Let's go ahead. Let's roll with Jimmy." Roll with Jimmy. Trey got hurt. Not saying that they were trying to get Trey hurt or anything like that, because honestly, Kyle Shanahan should be fired if he was trying to get Trey Lance hurt. Because it gets deeper than trying to get a player hurt. It gets into, well, this is a quarterback you
it's a whole different story that we're getting
wanted.
into.
So why are you trying to get the quarterback you? But anyway, do you think that it was truly Trey is not going to be able to play for the rest of the year, or do you think they kept him out to give him another, the rest of the season study, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera?
I think you'd almost have to, just because I'd rather see him come back fully healthy than anything else.
Because I think it's pretty clear they felt like he wasn't ready.
I don't think so. I mean, I think they knew that he wasn't necessarily ready, but that he would develop over the season and get better and better.
That's what I think. That's what I think. I think that he ready week 1. No, I think it was pretty clear with how much Kyle ran him. He was not ready to be the starting quarterback. I do think it was, hey, we've got to make this transition. We all think that it would be a step back to take 6 steps forward, type of scenario. But I think seeing the way Jimmy's operated the offense for the second half for the second half last week and the full game this week, minus the first 2 drives, I just don't think Trey was ready to operate on that level. The way the efficiency that Jimmy's been operating at, I mean, that Kittle play might have been the best. That might be the best play Jimmy Garoppolo's made. Jimmy does not make that play. That's not a Jimmy play.
I actually thought he was going to run it, because he could have run for the first down. I didn't think because he could have gone for the.
I thought he was going to run it and get the first down.
Yeah,
but to the awareness, to know where the line of scrimmage is, to threaten it enough where the linebackers had to come up and drop.
They tasted blood when they're like, "Ooh, Jimmy's running. Let's go knock this motherfucker
out." They thought they were going to kill him, and it was going to be the Brock Purdy show. To step up, have the awareness and the coolness, the Jimmy G cool, to be able to lob it, and I mean, how many times have we seen that ball go over somebody's head, thrown at Kittle's feet? He has to jump up, so he doesn't have the ability to do the run off the catch. That was probably one of Jimmy Garoppolo's best. Because let's be real, the 4th and 2 in New Orleans was all created by George Kittle.
Yeah, it's a good pass, but
it was that play is all George Kittle.
Yeah,
this play was obviously George had to run, and show the athleticism and everything to be able to break a tackle and to get in the end zone. But that was all set up by Jimmy. Yeah. That was probably one of the best plays I've ever seen Jimmy Garoppolo make in a Niner uniform.
Yeah, I don't think
that Trey was at that level.
Especially because the whole time I remember sitting here watching it. I'm like, just go for the sideline, Jimmy. Just go for the, just hit that corner so we get the first down. Bam, and he tosses it over. I'm like, oh shit. Like you said, that wasn't something. Now that would have been the type of play I would have expected Trey to make. With a lot more ease than Jimmy does.
Yeah. That's that type of play is why we drafted Trey Lance.
Yeah, but to your question, the offense, the way it's running now, would not be. This offense doesn't run like this with Trey. It's a completely different offense. So it's hard to say. Yeah. Would he be running it efficiently and this and that? Maybe he just runs better. We play off that better, but it's just. It's a significantly. It's just why it took it a little bit of time to get steam going, and not only did it take a little bit of time to get Jimmy back into shape, get Jimmy going, then we took pieces away and put in new pieces. So now we've got to kind of do that process all over again. And what we're hoping to see is that, last week, this week, everything is starting to click a little bit better. We just keep getting.
It's. I'm excited because, and we'll go ahead and end the show after. I'll let Jason give his final shots and we'll end the show. I'm excited because it's what I expected to see, which I expected us to get better as the season went on. And I said, hey, I don't want this team peaking week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5. I want this team starting to peak week after the bye, week 9, week 10, week 11, week 12. So that's because that momentum is going to carry us right through to the playoffs. Obviously, you add in the Christian McCaffrey factor. And this is the stretch where we started to say, Tampa Bay will be difficult. Washington's going to be difficult. We'll see how much of a rivalry game it is with the Raiders on New Year's Day. Honestly, that game that is either going to be one of the most competitive games of the year, or it's going to be the biggest blowout, because I'm curious to see where the Raiders are at as far as, that's New Year's Eve. Have they pretty much said, hey, has Josh McDaniels even been fired? Does he still even have a job?
They can't fire him.
Okay. Oh, so that is true? I thought that was some rumors.
No, they can't fire. They don't have the money because of his contract to fire him and go out and pay another top tier coach. They will run out of money. So he's almost stuck there at this point.
Because no matter what my boy Raul tells me, my boy Raul is a diehard Raider fan. No matter what he tells me, Khalil Mack got traded because they simply just didn't have because what a lot of people don't understand is, so let's say you sign a contract, it's 28 million, it's 100 million guaranteed, 50 million guaranteed at signing. So what they'll do is so Jed York would write a 50 million. So Nick Bosa next year, right? Nick Bosa gets 150 million guaranteed, which is very possible. The way that, it's either going to be him or Micah Parsons for Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, and I watched that game, the game with Parsons. He fucking had a game,
and that's all. Yeah, so I have a feeling Nick's gonna have the final say about that one. But he did have I watched some of the highlights on the ESPN countdown or whatever. So Jed York, it's 150 million, 75 million guaranteed at signing. Jed York will sign a $75 million check to Nick Bosa, or let's be real, it'll be directly deposited into Nick Bosa's account. And then the rest of the 75 million that's guaranteed, they have to put in escrow.
Yep.
So Jed York has to have the $150 million guaranteed available for Nick Bosa. The Raiders are just a cash poor team because a little secret, a little known fact about Al Davis, even though he was one of the oldest NFL owners, had a lot of power, all that. Al Davis really wasn't that rich in NFL owner standards. I mean, Mark Davis could buy us. You know what I'm saying? And everything he could buy our life. He has that type of money.
But like you said, the standard
NFL standards.
Yeah.
Yeah, as NFL standards, they're not that catch rich. Okay, so are the Raiders even interested? Are they going to be out partying on New Year's Eve? I think that is a full possibility to say, hey, we don't respect our coach. We know the only reason he's here is just because they're too broke to fire you. Or you would even be the coach. And it's the fucking Raiders, bruh.
But
truthfully,
that game gets competitive because of one player. Davante Adams. Yeah, that's it. That's even with David Carr throwing him the ball, he leads the league in touchdowns. So that right there, it tells you how good that one player is on that team.
I go lie, him and Charvarius is a hell of a matchup. I would really want to see that because that's gonna be interesting.
I hope it's more than just Charvarius, just because Davante Adams is that damn good.
Yeah, no, Davante Adams is fucking legit, and Derek Carr does throw a pretty deep bar.
They like each other. They're boys offside. You know what I mean? He went there.
They both went to Fresno State.
Exactly. Yeah, they played together. Yeah. They made this thing happen because they're boys. They want to play together. So they've got that connection that could be good. And like I said, if that game is competitive, it's going to be because of one person.
Yeah. And I mean, so we'll see, but it's definitely we're shaping into the right shape that I really do think if we could continue on this trajectory, and this isn't just it was the Cardinals and everything like that. Even the first half next week, the second half next week will really truly tell me if this is something we can expect from the Niners.
Yeah.
I'll give them the first half to me on Sunday is about just don't lose the game the first half. Don't get down 17-24 nothing.
Yeah.
If it's 14-10 halftime deficit, I'm fine. I'm fine with that, and say okay, fine. Considering all the things that have happened the last few weeks.
Yeah, because we've what
So
three straight weeks of the shutout in the second half. So I mean that's
53-0 the last 3 games in the second half.
That is insane.
That's now put it together. Now may not happen this week, but ultimately I want to see that start to not necessarily shutouts. I mean that's kind of asking a little too much, but I want to see this slowly start to transition into the first half. I would like to see that type of domination for the first half. But Jason, final thoughts?
Great team win, and when I do mean team is that look, you saw how many people the ball was spread around to everybody. The efficiency seems to be going up. Defense seems to be getting better.
Special teams.
Special team. This team plays like a train. It's slow to start. Like you saw the offense, first couple, the whole team in general, it's kind of like a chug. And the next thing you know, bam, they start running over everybody. And you just can't, they just steamroll everybody. And I love that right now.
And I don't know if you saw Troy Aikman's comments.
Oh, I see. He is in love with his team right now.
Yeah. He was kind of taking a shot at the rest of the teams being like, look, I think the rest of the NFL is soft and the 49ers are like, I think we got the highest compliment, especially considering it's coming from a former cry girl and somebody who, let's be real, I fucking loathe as a child.
Man.
No, I fucking
white Jay-Z alone.
Nah, fuck white Jay-Z.
Dude, look at Troy Aikman.
He hella does look like Jay-Z. And I've seen that meme and shit, and he hella does look like Jay-Z.
I could not look at Troy Aikman and not think white Jay-Z.
You know what?
Every time.
Troy Aikman next to Jay-Z makes me truly believe that's some all life started in Africa type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Because Troy Aikman's clearly white as the pure driven snow, but looks like a black man. Like, I mean, how do you put that together without having some type of
either that or someone's in the lab somewhere, manipulating genes and shit. They just copy paste.
Yeah, exactly.
We're just gonna make this one darker, this one whiter.
Maybe. Anyway, God ran out of some chemicals. Was running low on some shit. So say, hey, repurpose this shit. Who knows? Has anybody ever seen Jay-Z and Troy Aikman in the same room at the same time? Has anybody ever? I need pictures right now of Troy Aikman and Jay-Z in the same room at the same time. Or you know what? If I was Jay-Z's daddy, I'd have some questions for his mother. Just saying.
Or vice versa. You can do it one way or the other.
I don't know who's older, Trey, but I would have some questions going on. I'm just saying. He does look a little light-skinned. Anyway, maybe he could be mixed. But anyway, so he and that's the thing that excites me because I don't think anybody wants to see like you saw that second Kittle touchdown. Arizona wanted no part of his physicality. They wanted none of. They did not.
They were
want
like
that
Moses,
smoke.
man. They just
part of the Red Sea.
They
wanted none of that smoke.
Yeah,
they wanted
I'm good.
Nothing.
So the last time someone gave up like that was Jalen Ramsey trying to tackle Debo.
Debo.
But this time it was a whole defensive.
Yeah, they just part of the Red Sea.
And defensive backs like, nah, I'm done.
It was the prophet George Kittle.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right, Jason. We shall see you
pregame
next Tuesday.
Oh, Friday.
Well, we'll see you for the pregame, but I'll go ahead and we'll see you Tuesday, bro.
Indeed. Deuces.
All right, y'all. Thank you for tuning into this week's show. Before we get out of here, we've got to remind everybody to use the promo code BeatTheAints to save 10% on all season 2 for the faithful by the faithful apparel. use our shop49ers.com affiliate link in the description of this video or podcast to save 10% and help out the show. Go to seatgiant.com, use the promo code Niner Faithful Radio to save on all your theater, concert, and sporting event tickets, as well as help out the show. Follow us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr at Niner Faithful Radio. To see everywhere you can subscribe to the show, go to ninerfaithfulradio.com/subscribe. Catch Jamie and Jason at 7 p.m. here on the West Coast on Friday for NFR Weekly News Wrap, and catch pregame, halftime, and postgame this week, noon, halftime, and 9 p.m. here on the West Coast. I shall see y'all Tuesday. Your boy's going on a cruise. Ooh-wee, ooh-wee, baby, ooh-wee, ooh-wee, baby, ooh-wee, ooh-wee, baby. Won't you let me take you on a sea cruise? Anyway, I shall see y'all next week. Oh, yes. Also, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Please be safe. Enjoy time with your family. I must say, getting all cliche here and everything like that, the thing I am most thankful for is all the love and support NFR gets. Like, seriously, not getting all like sentimental and all that shit, but I really appreciate everybody who listens and watches the show every week. Y'all make my dream possible. Thank you so much. I come on here and I'm not nearly as thankful as I really am that I am given the opportunity to come on here every week and talk about my favorite football team. Man, I live the ultimate fan life. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Thank y'all so much. I shall see y'all next week. Till then, faith, love, and happiness. Go Niners.
You are now listening to Niner Faithful Radio, the show for the faithful, by the faithful.
What's up, Beto? I see you, baby. Happy Thanksgiving, brother. See y'all next week. See ya.